What's up, guys, and welcome to the channel. This is Tyler Tope. You know, it's 2024, and sadly, common sense isn't all that common right now. Today, guys, I'm going to show you a clip. We're going to talk through that clip and go through some other things and studyings that I've found. I'd love your honest take and feedback on it. I'm one that says, you know, we live in a world today of endless distractions everywhere. I feel like they're always trying to distract you here, there, and everywhere. You got to stay focused on your mission, so I try not to let a lot of this outside noise affect me. But when it comes for children and when children are innocently getting hurt, I feel like that's the time to step up and say something. So guys, let's dive in today. So the first thing I'm going to ask you guys to do is just watch this little 20-second clip. This is an actual footage of a high school girls basketball game. What you're going to notice here as you're watching this clip is, my goodness, that girl is really big. That's right, she's 6 foot. This girl was a boy up until a year ago and is now identifying as a female. And as you see, she wrestles the ball away from this girl. This girl is injured, laying on her back. In this game alone, 3 girls were hurt, physically injured, and had to leave the game. The coach actually had to end up forfeiting, saying, I don't have enough players, I don't feel safe out there. But then, of course, in the press conference after, when parents were demanding action and this isn't fair, this isn't right, the athletic directors just said, well, we want to be tolerant, well, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, this and that. It's absolutely wild to me that it's 2024 and we're still having this discussion. A decade ago in 2014, we saw Fallon Fox, this dude right here that transitioned into this woman, fight in an MMA fight against a woman and crack her skull. We should have known right there, and to be honest, even before the fight, we should have known men and women are biologically different, the testosterone levels, the bone density. I could go on and on why this isn't fair. No matter how much they reduce their testosterone, whatever it is, they had it up to a certain point. That makes it not a fair competition. But we didn't learn, and we've gone ahead to allow, Leah Thomas, who's the 65th ranked swimmer on the men's team, and then overnight became the #1 ranked swimmer at the 500 meter freestyle. We've seen a lot of biological women stand up and speak out against this. Riley Gaines is one who sat before Congress many times and has said that, look, this just isn't fair. Doesn't mean we don't like these people or want these people around. It's simply not fair. And again, now you're seeing people get hurt. You're seeing high school girls get hurt. Again, this stuff blows my mind that we're having this conversation still. A lot of the women now are being told, well, you have to just kind of accept this and it is what it is. So what do I think should happen moving forward? And number one, I think this is a pretty slippery slope. I think if you're going to allow people to just feel like anything a certain day and they can transition into that thing, what is stopping me from a 40-year-old dad to saying, well, I kind of feel like a 12-year-old today, man. I want to go dominate Little League. I kind of feel like this. Like, it's a matter of time before you got an adult that wants to identify as a kid and wants to go dominate these leagues. Or it's a matter of time before everything that feminists fought for in Title IX in 1971, they fought for the right to be able to compete and have their own sports. That's all going away. Soon you're just going to see biological men dominating all these and hurting girls in the process. So what I believe we need to do is, number one, the parents just need to be outraged at this. Look, my daughter's 8.5. I'll be very honest. If she comes up and is supposed to compete here in a few years against somebody at swimming and gymnastics, some kind of competition, and it's a biological male, we will not compete. I would urge all the other parents around, the athletic directors, to just say, we're simply not competing. This isn't fair. I'll also go and shake the hand of the person transitioning and wish them a great life. There's no ill will. And I don't want this to come off as, oh, they're less than or anything. It's just simply not fair. And I'm all for freedom. You can do whatever you want to choose to do with your life. I'll equate this to the same way as a gun owner here in the US. We have a right to bear arms. So these people have a right to transition, do whatever they want to do, and they're an adult, that's fine. What I don't have a right to do is take my gun outside and just start shooting it aimlessly. That can hurt other people. So although it's a right to own a gun, there's still certain restrictions around it. Hey, you know what? If you're an adult and you want to transition, that's fine, but we either need a third category for people to compete in, or you simply have to compete against the biological sex that you were born into. You don't see this the other way, right? You don't see biological females transitioning to men and then going and dominating the NBA. You just never will see that because there's an obvious difference and everybody knows it. I also feel like when you get to a point in society where we are in 2024, where you can tell 50% of the people hey, that, you can be whatever you feel like. You can transition whatever you feel like, and you just have to accept it. There's no more, what we've believed as a species for 10,000 years. There's a man and a woman. Oh, that no longer exists. Now you can be a they, you can be a he, you can be a she, you can go back and forth, right? Like, if you can convince enough people of that, what can't you convince them of? So again, I would call on all parents out there. I would call on, lead with love, lead with kindness. If you're an AD, you're a principal, you're a teacher, it's time to start speaking out against this stuff. 3 girls are hurt and now won't be able to compete in basketball moving forward. Is that fair? Are one person's right to come and compete and dominate this sport, that comes at the expense of a lot of other people? Again, I go back to Riley Gaines before Congress saying, I trained my whole life. I dedicated mornings and after school and night. Everything was around being the greatest swimmer and trying to get to the Olympics. Now a biological male who transitions is just naturally taller, bigger, stronger, faster, and they're gonna take my spot. That is simply not fair. I just go back to a lot of common sense. And look, one of my favorite all-time athletes, male or female, is Serena Williams. I absolutely loved watching her play. She was so dominant in her era. And I remember a reporter asking her in a little interview, I can link the little clip up here, could you compete against men? You're crushing these women, you have a 120-mile-an-hour serve, all this great stuff. Like, could you compete in the men's?
Andy Murray, he was been joking about myself and him playing a match, and I'm like, Andy, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Because for me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost 2 separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because no, it's true. It's true. It's a completely. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it. Yeah. I'm not gonna let you kill me.
Now look, that takes nothing away from Serena Williams. She's the greatest all-time female tennis player in my opinion, but she's just there's so many differences. Again, testosterone levels, bone density, height, mass, all of these things are so different. You can't expect her to go compete, just like you can't expect high school girls to compete with biological boys. It is simply not fair. We've seen a bunch of other states push back on this now. Finally, I feel like the tides are starting to turn. I'm not sure how many people have to get hurt before this actually becomes a thing, but they've passed what's called the Fairness in Sports Act. There's a list of states that have now gotten in on this. That's Idaho, Florida, Arkansas, Mississippi, Montana, and Ohio. I'll be honest, just as the dad of a daughter watching this, it terrifies me. And again, I would never let my daughter go compete against a biological male in anything. It's simply not fair. And I feel like more athletic directors, parents, teachers need to step up and say right is right, wrong is wrong. Put a third category in, let them compete with their biological sex. Doesn't mean we think less of them, doesn't mean we love them less. We still want them to go live a great life, do everything they want to do. But again, right is right, fair is fair. Right now, it's just the girl grabbing her back and she's got an injured back. What happens when it's a head injury? What happens when somebody actually gets killed? I feel like something like that is gonna happen if we don't stop this nonsense. So guys, 2024, let's bring back common sense. Let's all agree that, hey, maybe there is right and wrong, and there is a thing called truth. And the truth is biological males should never be competing with biological females, the same that I shouldn't get to go identify as a 12-year-old and dominate Little League, which actually maybe I couldn't now with my old shoulders, but that's neither here or there. Anyhow, guys, I hope this video has been somewhat informative to you. I hope you have a stance on it too. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment. Look, I pride myself on being a super tolerant, empathetic, kind guy. In fact, I managed the largest bank in the country up until a few years ago, and I had 2 clients that were transitioning at that time. Dude, you know how I treated them? Just like everybody else, man. They walked in, I gave them a fist bump and said, hey, welcome in. How can I help you today? I had a good working relationship with both of them. I don't want them to do anything less with their lives. I want them to live great lives. I just think we have to draw a line right here and say, this isn't fair. It's clearly not fair. And everybody needs to step up and do their part. Whether that's you as a parent saying, you know what, we're just going to sit our kids out. We're not going to compete in this. Stepping up, going to school board meetings, letting them know that this isn't right. So again, guys, give me your comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts, your takes on this. Maybe they're different than mine. That's great. You can educate me and I can learn some things too. Either way, guys, go have the most blessed day of your life. Bless up, be kind. Let's go get it, baby. Have a great one.